Hello there everybody and welcome back. Today's film is a film that I've really been wanting to do for a long time. But it's just, you know, here we are. We're making it happen now. And the film is Cleopatra. Today we are going to recreate her iconic look that she has in the film, and Miss Elizabeth Taylor, while we sit and talk about this outrageous film. Like, looking at the research of it, it's literally mind-boggling how this film even was created and even was finalized because of all of the hiccups that come along the way. I'm going to do my very best to show you guys every step-by-step of what it is that I'm doing while also talking about the film, but we're going to see. I might have to incorporate some voiceovers because that liner, we're really going to have to try our very best for. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. As a reminder, everything that I'm going to use is going to be listed down in the description box below. For the most part, what we're going to use today is going to be the Morphe Blue Ya Away palette. This is a very blue and silver centric look, so I feel like we should be able to get quite a bit done with this. And then we might go in with our Master Metals palette, I think that's what it's called, by Makeup by Mario. So let's see, let's try it, let's do what we got to do. All right. Let's go. Today is going to be doing our foundation because the foundation is going to be pretty crucial because we got a lot to do with the eyes. And as we do the foundation, let's talk about the creator of this film, because before this film was even thought of as an idea, it already has an insane origin story. Okay, so Walter Wanger, yes, that is his name, Walter Wanger. I'm childish. Had a long desire to produce a film that was a biographical film about Cleopatra. He had a dream, you must say. Something like that, right? Right? Yeah, sounds safe to say. He had such a deep desire to create this film. This desire that came from him essentially started when he was an undergraduate. As an undergraduate, he read a book by Théophile Gautier. I don't know if I'm saying this right. And it was a fantasy model called One of Cleopatra's Night and other fantastic romances. So he read this book and was like, you know what? I gotta make a film about her. This is such a great book. He also read Plutarch's Lives, as well as Shakespeare's book called Antony and Cleopatra. He envisioned Cleopatra at that point as being the quintessential essence of beauty, and one of the first people that comes to his mind in that time frame was none other than Elizabeth Taylor. Now, his idea for Elizabeth Taylor came when he watched a film by the name of A Place in the Sun, and as soon as he saw that film, he was like, yep, that's my character, we're gonna make this happen, which I thought was cool because he had the vision, he had the idea, and we all know Elizabeth Taylor played this role, so let's see how it pans out. So now this is where it gets a little weird, right? It gets a little bit strange at this point, right? I know you're probably thinking, how can it get strange from here? Like, that doesn't make much sense. He's just passionate. He wants to make a film. Well, listen to this. Private life, right? He's married. His wife's name is Joan Bennett. And through a private detective, he finds out through the private detective that his wife is cheating on him and finds her with this Jennings guy in a parking lot. And he decides to go up to Jennings and shoot him 2 times. Yeah, so Jennings doesn't die, fortunately for Jennings and for the whole situation, but obviously everyone knows who did it. It was Mr. Wanger, who went and freaking shot the guy twice, and fortunately he survives. And so he does go to jail for his actions, right? Regular, right? Get this, he only goes to jail for 4 months for shooting a guy in a parking lot because the guy was with his wife and his wife was cheating. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. So he goes to jail for 4 years, and he goes to jail for 4 years because he pleads the insanity card. Yep. Gets out, pretty much scot-free. Following his release, he achieved a career comeback. Of course. And he produces a film called Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And he also produces I Want to Live, in which the actress Susan Hayward wins a award for Best Actress in his film. So yeah, career comeback, right? Shoots a dude twice and he's like, yeah, it's time for me to go and do what I gotta do. All right, go for it, dude. So he proceeds to continue his pitches, right? This is a big deal for him. He is thinking about this film hardcore and he's like, I've got to find a way to make this happen. So he starts pitching it to different film studios, including Monogram, RKO Pictures, and he also approached Elizabeth Taylor and her husband, Michael Todd, about producing the project with United Artists. Taylor originally kind of expressed interest, but delegated on the decision to Todd. Meanwhile, 20th Century Films was kind of going through their own sort of headache, so to speak. They were kind of on the downside of a lot of their stuff right now, and so they were just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna need to figure out, like, what are we gonna do? And so the lead person by the name of Spiros Skouras, Spiros was like, yeah, we gotta find a way, we gotta find a way to make some money. So they were trying to go around and see who would be the best to be a part of a film and what film they should do to basically save their asses. So Cleopatra, the film, comes along and it becomes a viable idea for them where they're like, okay, I think this is a good thing. Let's do this. Originally, when they started kind of doing the casting and the figuring out of what exactly they wanted to do and what film and yada yada, they were thinking, okay, well, maybe we can go with a bit more of a like simplistic approach, right? They wanted somebody who was maybe a little bit less expensive. And so they favored that cheap production. They were like, okay, maybe we can do like a $2 million project and, that's it. That could be a good idea, right? They wanted somebody potentially like Joan Collins, and they apparently like really tested her out for this film and really were like, yeah, this is who we want. So I think I've already kind of lied. I think I'm going to go in with the Nyanne palette by Morphe instead of the Blue You Away. I think I'm going to try my best to use it for especially the silvery tones, but I'm trying to compare and I'm having a hard time because it's a combination of a deep blue, but it's also a lighter blue. So we're going to go in with this eye roll tone. It has a little bit more of a shimmer, and we're going to just apply that all over the lid from here. So they tested extensively with this girl, and they were like, okay, well, maybe we can make this Joan Collins gal the person that we want for Cleopatra. But Wanger was like, no. He wanted somebody who was way more elaborate, way more fitting for the role. Obviously, Elizabeth Taylor, but they did go ahead and choose to test out others as well. Some others that they tested out or per se were considering were people like Sophia Loren, great option. They also were thinking about Susan Hayward, Audrey Hepburn. They were all under consideration for this film. In September of 1959, Mr. Wanger decided to once again try Miss Elizabeth Taylor and see, can I get Elizabeth to sign on to this? I don't know. So he hit her up and he offered her a, get this, $1 million paycheck, basically, in which she said, you know what, I think I'll take it. And fun fact, up until this point, no actor had ever been paid that much money for a film. It was an unheard of sum. So I just thought it was kind of fascinating, to just see that, again, he had her as an idea from so early on. He was persistent, and at the end of the day, provided a film with that actress with, again, a lot of turmoil, as you'll see, or at what cost, so to speak, for this film. And on the day that they started, there was already turmoil. Elizabeth Taylor decided to bring her hairstylist, whose name was Sydney Gulioff, something like that. Hopefully I'm saying it semi-correctly. But she brought Sydney to the set, and people weren't happy. There was a union that was there, the hairdressers union, and by her bringing this individual to set, they were pissed. They were like, no, we can't have this person here because we are here as a union. And they went on strike first day. And so they ended up finally coming to an agreement where they were like, okay, I guess this is fine, we're gonna make it do, whatever. But the agreement and the settlement came with her having to get her hair done in her Dorchester suite. So couldn't even pretty much be on set for this because everyone was like, meh. So another hiccup. We've bypassed this. Things should be going good now, right? Pretty much, right? Maybe something like that? No. So they decided to film a scene in 40-degree weather for this film. Now, I'm kind of skipping a little bit because there is a lot of back and forth when it comes to them scripting and things like that. So I'm kind of bypassing the script stuff and we're just going straight into now filming and production. So while they were filming one of the scenes, they were filming it in 40-degree weather. And Taylor fell sick. This is not a look that is per se easy to create while you're talking. So I'm just going to go ahead and create the eyeliner look while we talk a little bit more about the film. So where we left off was the fact that Miss Elizabeth Taylor was out in 40-degree weather. Yes, 40-degree weather, creating her looks. And yeah, she gets sick. Pretty much, that's really how it goes. She fell sick with a sore throat and it rendered her as unable to work for 2 weeks. And they went ahead and they continued filming without her, and instead they were shooting scenes that had Finch and Boyd in them. Now, Taylor's cold soon progressed into a fever and all this stuff, and she ended up going to Queen Elizabeth's physician while she was on set, and they basically said she has meningitis. And so by November 19th, Wanger basically decided to postpone the shooting for the studio for at least 2 weeks until Taylor's health basically recovered. She ended up becoming hospitalized for a week, and then she flew back to Florida to just kind of recuperate. Lloyd's of London Insurance Agency ended up paying $2 million to cover Taylor's medical expenses. So at this point, she's already basically costed $3 million. So filming was then set to resume in April 4th of 1961. However, March 4th, Taylor was hospitalized again for pneumonia. And one of the news agencies kind of had said that she had died, but she didn't, obviously, and she ended up recovering by having a tracheotomy, which was performed on her throat. So I finished this eye for the most part. What I did was I did with the Haus Labs liquid paint, created the look. I tried to go with a gel liner, but that did not work out as planned. And so, yeah, I think I think having the Haus Labs version is gonna be a lot easier to work with, having that pigment paint. So I'm gonna jump in and do the other eye next and talk more. So they actually ended up, at that point, she had pneumonia, she had been hospitalized, all this stuff. They decided to just, ban the production or bar the production from Pinewood Studios, which was where they were kind of creating everything, and they just dismantled all the sets that they had created, which costed them about $600,000. They decided to relocate the production to the studio's back lot that was in California. Meanwhile, they were looking to kind of see if they could find anywhere else that would be suitable. They were looking at locations that were in Rome and Egypt, but fun fact, Elizabeth was barred from entering Egypt to complete location shots because she was Jewish. Insane, right? The main script writer had completed about 132 pages of the shooting script with another 195 pages to go. They shot the film in sequence, which is not something that they typically will do. They kind of will shoot at, whatever sequence they kind of see fit. Sometimes it might be, okay, today we're going to shoot with XYZ actor, and the next week it might be with XYZ actor. But yeah, they decided to shoot in script. So with that said, it was a little bit hard for them to do because they kind of waiting for these things to be written. And by them not being written, it was giving everybody kind of a bit of a hard time because they couldn't keep going. So they would allow basically these actors to have to be off of set for weeks at a time. So this whole production sounds like, honestly, a hot mess. The primary scriptwriter also contracted dermatitis, and so he would be writing the scripts in the evenings while he would be shooting in the daytime, and he would need like different sorts of shots to basically help with this dermatitis that he had. So again, I mean, it's just this whole thing. I'm like, what in the world? How did it even get made? I don't know. So fast forward. Now, this is a famous part that a lot of people kind of were aware of. But in 1962, in January, Elizabeth had her very first scene with Burton. And there comes a time when they were making the movies and the actors become the characters that they play. And apparently while they were filming, they could sense the electricity right away between the two. Yeah. And in February, the news of their love became main stage, which did not kind of go well for, again, the film, because she was married and she was liking this guy on set. You know, it's one of those situations. Film's not out. I mean, it's just, this film just keeps going. But nonetheless, you know, they continue, they make the film, they do their thing, the affair comes out, whatever, right? But the one thing that I think people need to understand is that this film was literally a massive undertaking, just from the very beginning. It said that the film had a grand total of about 79 sets and required 26,000 costumes. Yeah. All the scenes were shot with real people. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we're going to shoot this and it's just going to be, you know, CGI. That wasn't a thing. There was no CGI. So everyone you see in this long-ass film, they were there. They were on set. Now, they were shooting film, of course, back in the day. And so this particular movie, by the end of their whole creation, ended up having them about 120 miles worth of film that they had to go through and piece together. The rough cut of this film ran for a grand total of 5 hours and 20 minutes. It was premiered in the Rivoli Theater in New York City. It had an estimated audience of about 10,000 people. The ticket prices for this film were about $5.50. It originally ran for 220 minutes and then eventually brought down to 184 minutes. The film ended up winning 4 Academy Awards, but was nominated for an additional 5. Elizabeth Taylor also got the recognition for having the most costume changes in a film at a record-breaking 65 costume changes within the film. So she broke that record, but after her, there was another one that was broken, and it was with Julie Andrews, and she wore 125 different costumes in her movie Star. So, you know, I'm gonna run and go ahead and put on this wig really quick, and then we're gonna end off with a few fun facts about the film as well. And we're back with our wig on. So, adjusted for inflation, this has become one of the most expensive films to date. Back then, it costed $44 million. Insane. And to date, that would be about the equivalent to $40 million. Yeah. I mean, when you think about how many different outfits they had, when you think about the costume changes, all of this stuff, I get it, but I'm still like, whoa. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this look for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. To give you a general rundown of what it is that we did, I just used a general blue color all over my eye, and then for the liner I used Haus Labs. They're pigmented paints that look like this. I started off using a gel that I had from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Did not like how it was coming out. I feel like a liquid may be the best bet to be able to get that long-winded precision that you might want, and of course have a thin-tipped brush to be able to get that exact line. Now, could mine have been a little bit better? Of course, yes, definitely. But I think these combinations, if you know them off the bat, it'll make it a lot better for you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a fun look to create and a really fun discussion. I don't think I have had a film that has been this insane in a long time. I haven't really seen any films either that have had an actress have to leave for such a long period of time due to illness. In Rocky Horror Picture Show, Susan Sarandon did leave for a little bit because she got sick, but like, she was gone for a long time. Nor have I had a set where the main guy who creates it shoots the lover of his ex-wife. I mean, that's insane. And then again, the actress, Miss Elizabeth Taylor, ends up having an affair with a guy on set as well. I mean, the whole thing just sounds, it's insane. It's literally insane. One last tidbit, since you guys are here and stayed till the end, one of the things that I did find that was a little bit funny was there's a spectacular scene. There's a really nice scene of Cleopatra entering Rome, which required thousands upon thousands of extras, because reminder, back in the day, they didn't have CGI and all this stuff. So they had these actors come out with their outfits, all of that. And in that scene, they had to reshoot it because an extra could be seen on set selling gelato in the film. Hilarious. This film is a mess, but a beautiful mess. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below who I should do next, and we'll see you guys soon with another Movie Makeup Friday. See y'all later. Bye.